Hey, this is Dr. Moorman. We're here at Picture Creek Dye-Base Barren in Granville County, North Carolina. We're standing in a restored woodland with an oak, pine, shortleaf pine overstory. I love these plant communities because when they're restored, they have a lush understory of grasses, forbs, and woody plants that provide excellent nesting structure for wild turkeys, cover for northern bobwhite, places for indigo buntings and prairie warblers. The sparse mid-story and intermediate level of overstory provides great habitat for red-headed woodpeckers, summer tanagers, eastern wood peewees, and a whole diversity of birds. I'm here with David Schnake, and he's played a key role in restoring this site. So David, why did you guys set out to restore this site?
It came down to Understory Plants for us. That's the objective up here. They put in a power line right of way to our west many years ago, and found a bunch of rare, threatened, and endangered plant species that turned out to be woodland or prairie associate species. So prior to implementing a lot of this work, this was a closed canopy forest that didn't have any of the characteristics of where those plants would want to grow.
Right.
So management is focused on creating more open conditions for them.
And that's a really unique plant community in North Carolina.
Very rare. Yeah, this is actually the largest population of coneflowers.
Okay, so one of the rare plant species are smooth coneflower.
Yep, smooth coneflower. There's a Baptisia species. Then there was one species that was new to science that they found out here, and there's another species of milkweed that they just found about 2 weeks ago. That's very rare in the state, and they just found it up here.
That's cool. So what are some simple steps, just a summary of the kinds of steps, management steps you had to take to get to this condition from what it was before the restoration?
The biggest one right up front was a harvest up here. We did a variable retention harvest. So we removed species and left different densities of trees across the whole site, kind of leaving a pretty complex overstory. And the species that we focused on removing were considered off-site species. So we removed things like sweet gum, red maple, loblolly pine, and retained species that we considered to be more native to the site, more xerophytic oak species like post oak, as well as pine species like shortleaf pine.
Okay, and when you cut those hardwood species, they tend to sprout back and quickly dominate the plant community again, the understory, midstory. How'd you prevent that?
Yeah, they sprouted vigorously right after the harvest, and what we did is we actually came in with a backpack application of triclopyr. So it's just a little bit more selective herbicide. Didn't broadcast apply it, just sprayed it directly on the sweet gum, red maple that we wanted to control.
Okay, and then after that you use fire. And how have you used fire, and how do you intend to use fire to maintain this woodland community into the future?
We've used fire twice, so this has been burned twice now. 3 years apart, once just a year after the triclopyr application, and then most recently just about 3 months ago. And we plan to continue to use fire, probably tighten it up over that 3 year, at least for a while, probably burn it every 2 years or so to keep that hardwood at bay, start to further deplete its root stocks and get it out of here.
Okay, this is a great place. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.